So have you ever logged on to a remote machine and missed to establish, to set the port forwarding? For example, you have started VNC server and then you kind of, so what do? Log out, log in, or do you actually have to? Have you seen this? How many have you seen this? Okay, cool. So you can add dynamically and remove. So you can use a lot of tilde. Sorry? No, you can't. You can't script it. But I mean, if you are scripting it, you can just as well establish with the command line. But something is missing, right? So what more would you like to do with this? I mean, you would probably very much like copy some files, right? So can you do that? Has anybody seen this? I mean, permit local commands. So the same drill, but this time I'll do something like this. Just to kind of show there is no file. So I'll do scp go mod, just a file. So, but isn't it annoying that you have to type the password? I mean, we all have seen litter boxes and T keys, and what if you have 5-factor of authentication? I mean, so let's amp it up a little bit. Has anybody seen this? Okay, okay. Okay. So now if we do would it work? No. And it's so bad that you have to kill it. The reason for that is actually because it's executed synchronously, so that the client loop is suspended and it's waiting for the process to finish up. But let's try. So this one actually works. I mean, we can double check it. Wait.
Because it runs in the background till you leave the SSH one. Okay, nice.
Damn it. So file is here. But wasn't it annoying? First of all, I had to type FreeBSD. And just in case, I mean, this is not kind of... Oh. Oh. It is FreeBSD. So, No. I mean, we do like this. So, is it like, what? Okay. So when you clap, you are committed to test it. I mean, this is just a quick and dirty proof of concept. And there is kind of a little bit more work to be done in the sense that it should. I mean, right now I'm still using this control path. But it's not actually that I have to do that. Instead, the idea would be to allocate socket pair and pass it to the SSH client. The kind of the key part is that it's client only. That is, you don't need anything from the server side, so that if you have some controlled environment that you kind of don't want to mess with, you only have to bring your own SSH client. And once you have passed the kind of fifth factor authentication, then you kind of is in. So that, and the question also, you can easily kind of recognize the problem that I used dot, but what does dot mean? I mean, I used this, right? Where? I mean, right. I mean, for the moment, it would mean like home directory. So the question would be, how do I kind of extract the current working directory from the remote session? There are kind of two options. So that, and this is something I would like to ask. I mean, one would be like, do something like this. Like file. I mean, it's not working right now, so I just speedboard it. Oh, damn it, Swedish keyboard. Backtick. Something like this. One can also kind of throw it into the script so that one doesn't have to kind of type it all the time. Alternative can be that whenever you kind of do, to make, at this point, one, for example, can have SSH client recognize that you are trying to call SCP specifically, and then it can go and ask for current working directory, the remote shell directly without kind of showing you on the screen, and use that as a kind of way to target the SCP. Another kind of suggestion would be to also recognize rsync. Would that be something of interest? SFTP? Not much?
SFTP, yes. FPS, not so much.
Okay.
For this anyway, but being able to do it in the same session is very nice.
Yeah.
I keep having to restart new sessions to do this.
Oh, that's about it. And remember, when you clap, when you clap, so just kind of, that's my GitHub handle. So just check. Maybe in a couple of weeks, there will be a fork to the OpenSSH portable with a branch set to that. So, thanks.
Thanks a lot. And we have a final thing, right? And Toke, happily, we were very happy that we could have another talk and on a subject that I think a lot of us care about at the moment.
So this is mostly sort of a public service announcement. I wanted to talk about CVEs, and for those of you who have not been following upstream kernel development and what's been happening, this basically sums up the situation. So specifically what has been happening is that people have started reporting lots and lots of CVEs, and now that we have these lovely LLMs everywhere, embargoing is no longer a thing because anyone can trivially rediscover any vulnerability. So we've had, like if you look at how many point releases that are there for 7.0, a lot of them just have a single commit that's fixing a CVE that's actively under exploitation because it's specifically in the network stack. Over the last couple of weeks, what happened was that people started finding places where bits of code in various places of the kernel were using FKB, the FKB API wrong. So you have specifically the FKB structure has this copy and write feature built in where you can have memory from all different places. If you do a send file, you just take pages directly from the page cache and put them out into the network interface. But if you then write to that memory without doing proper copy and write on the way out, you suddenly have another instance of dirty frag that we had. So these kind of issues cropped up, and once people started looking at usages of the FKB interface, well, a lot of these popped up. So I had there's one sort of person from the Fedora team who publicly said, please expect at least one important Fedora kernel update to land a week for the foreseeable future. And obviously, if you're running old kernels or distro kernels that don't update as fast, or your own backported kernels, lots of kernel maintainers are not doing anything other than responding to actively exploitable CVEs that have proof of concept. They can be container escapes, they're trivial, privilege-less root exploits. It's all fun. And again, because the sort of upstream community sort of approach here is that anything that's discovered via an LLM is trivially rediscoverable, so there's not even any point in embargoing it. There's also there has been examples of people where one person finds the vulnerability, actually reports it in a way that's responsible disclosure, and then someone else independently rediscovered it and posted an exploit with a whole website kind of thing that we've seen. And we don't know how long this is going to go on. This is, maybe we run out at some point when we fixed all the bugs in the kernel. I don't know how long this is going to take. So I just wanted to put this up there to end on a cheerful note and let you all know, but it's something to be aware of, especially if you are sort of security conscious, either for your own sake or for your product's sake. And any comments, discussion, what are we going to do about this is welcome. I don't know if anyone has any input. Yes. Okay, rewrite it in Rust. Rewrite Windows CE in Rust, I heard, as a suggestion.
And it's not just in the kernel, it's everywhere.
Yes.
I care about Yocto, which
Right.
brings in 7,000 components.
Yes.
So it's everywhere. We are in for a bumpy ride, people who care about open source. But I think that we should remember that at the end of the day, we're going to have better code. And
Yes.
if you're worried about open source, that's one thing. But if you have proprietary code, you should be really freaking scared.
Yeah.
So
Another fun feature on that note is that a lot of these models run just fine on machine code. So not having access to source is not a barrier.
So I think that from an open source, those of us who care about open source, the answer is just buckle up and do the work.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing we can do. And then encourage our companies to get better. I work for a little company in Stockholm named Ericsson, and we need to get better at releasing updates, I think it's safe to say. And I think that's true of everybody here.
Yeah, and also please hug your maintainer, support them, help review patches, get things in. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Jesper, do you want to say anything about how you tackle this? Or do you just want to talk about that? No.
Can't you see how tired I am?
No, that's a coping mechanism.
This is fine. Everything's broken.
Yeah, this is not coffee. Yes, another comment.
So, what do you think about the kind of trend of starting deleting lots of old and unmaintained stuff?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to mention. Yeah, that's a good point. So just for context, one of the things that's also been happening, particularly in the networking subsystem, is that now that extra code has become a liability, we've started removing lots of old protocols. ISDN is no longer supported in the Linux kernel. I think from just sort of a practical point of view, this is unavoidable. Some of the stuff that is, like a lot of this is, you're running old hardware, so you're probably running an old kernel anyway, and that is not going away. Some stuff has also been moved out of tree, so there's like, I forget where it lives, but there's a GitHub repository of sort of orphan code that no one has fixed. There's also been a few examples where just threatening to remove it actually had someone step up and fix that. But a lot of network protocols have not been maintained for a long time and turned out to have lots of vulnerabilities. So just getting rid of them has been a sort of just a way of cutting down on stopping the fire hose. Yeah, and some things also just holds back development. So it's like code has been removed from the kernel before. It's taking a long time. Now there's a lot of pressure on to do this, which also means, again, if you say base your product on the Linux kernel and you're using parts of the kernel that not a lot of other people use, now is the time to step up and maintain it, because otherwise it's maybe going away.
I think you said it, but perhaps not clearly. The upstream Linux community has actually merged rules now for the LLM stuff that you said. That it is a rule that if it's found by an LLM, there is no embargo. So this is not just saying something that is decided, and it will be there will be no embargoes in the future for things like this. So that will be fun.
Yeah, all right. Was there one more comment?
I guess there's a bit of a scale difference, but I mean, for anyone following the, Daniel Stenberg's comments on curl and AI, I mean, they are kind of at a situation where people are throwing all the AI they have at it and not much is coming out anymore. So, I mean, of course, curl is much smaller than the Linux kernel, but it also kind of illustrates that you can actually reach a point where your code just doesn't have CVEs anymore, essentially. I mean, I think that is very interesting long term. Like right now, it's a disaster, but it does actually mean that, I mean, long term, if we use these things over time, essentially you can reach a point where you can now have more secure code in a few years. It's like a new tool that is available to find exploits. I mean, it's very unfortunate that we now just receive it overnight on a 30 million line of code base, but for the very distant future, there are some interesting possibilities here, because I think it is possible to reach a point where code has minimal CVs, and this might be a tool to get there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also something to be aware of here is that to a certain extent, what's changed is that this is now public. It's probably the case that there have been, say, state actors that have had the resources to do this, maybe not with LLMs, but then just because they have people doing the same thing. So it's not sort of to say, oh no, now we are vulnerable because the LLMs are coming. It's more that now we can see that we are vulnerable. Like it's always been there in the code, right?
It's more publicly available, which
Yeah.
would be fixed, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Just one sort of observation of this that's happened in the last couple of weeks is sort of Android has been much more clearer from all of this type of problems. And one reason is that they have quite strict SE Linux policies. And that is sort of also a way forward, trying to reduce the attack services. And SE Linux is quite good for that. But it's also a lot of work. But this Android has been quite more safe on this area and the desktop environments and so on.
Yes,
and also, SE Linux could be used as sort of the kill switch that they are looking for. There's a lot of talk about having a kill switch for certain functions, and SE Linux can do some part of that.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be SE Linux. So these days, as we just saw with the letterbox thing, you can stack LSMs. So one thing we've also seen is you can write a very small BPF program that attaches to LSM hooks and blocks particular things. For example, some of these came out of specific socket families that if you open one of those, you can just root the box and they don't require privileges. But you can tailor a specific LSM to just block this in your system without even rebooting. But yes, obviously.
That's something you can do when you have sort of know what you are going to do. And the SE Linux policies is sort of you try to prevent it.
Yeah, okay, so you mean in general having a more locked down policy can prevent things, that's true. And also just this whole sort of separation thing, like that's also apropos what we heard about, like Litterbox is not needed on Android because it already has this kind of separation. So maybe this will mean longer term we will get more secure systems. Hopefully, just because now we have, like a lot of this has just been, you already knew that you were not supposed to trust the tools that you were running on your system necessarily if you don't control them. And now you have agents that are actively doing weird shit all the time. So now this has become a very concrete thing that you have to worry about. So in that sense, it's sort of forcing some things that we already knew we ought to be doing, but no one was funding. And now it's this. The house is on fire, so suddenly someone is coming with a big fire hose, and let's hope that it manages to quench the flames before we all perish.
I think that sums it up nicely. All right, I think that was the last talk for the day, but we have just a couple of things to say before we head off for the post-period. Thanks, Toke.